Hi, I'm Sam Regan from SR Contracting, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install a quick and easy Moen faucet and a new sink for one of my clients. He just got a brand new countertop. It doesn't need a lot of work, but I'll show you how to do it. Whenever you're installing one of these things, always read the instructions, even if you think you're a pro. I've done this a million times, and it's still never 100% the same. Each one's slightly different. Each one of these sets has its own way it's specifically designed to be tightened and all the bells and whistles for it. So you always want to make sure that you read all the instructions so that you're not installing it wrong. Because nothing's worse than having a shaky faucet a couple months after you install it. So now we're just going to be hooking up the sprayer and the water lines. So we just want to make sure that all the pipes are in correctly. This just snaps in. Nothing too hard. And then you want to just look for the correct water lines to make sure that you have the right hot and cold. These actually have a marker on it. It's got our little red tag right here. I don't know if you can see this here. This red tag actually just tells you that it's a hot line, so we know which one on the faucet is the hot. And the way that we can tell that which line is actually the hot is we can actually look for which one's got the dishwasher line on it. That's the hot line. This actually doesn't need Teflon tape because there's actually a rubber grommet on the inside. Just in case, always make sure there actually is a grommet so it doesn't leak. And now we're just going to use a wrench to tighten this up. Now you don't want to over tighten this, and you want to make sure that when you're tightening it, that your pipe isn't actually kinking. If it kinks, no water will come through, and you might have to replace the pipe. And you also just want to make sure it's tucked away from the sink. And then you want to put on your weight. The weight is going to stop the actual pipe from getting stuck when it's fully extended. So that way when you pull out your spout and push it back in, it will actually come back in. So that's quick, it snaps in place, and then when you lift it up, this will come up and it will come back down by itself. So now we're just going to undo the sprayer head, take off all the wrapping parts, make sure that it has a rubber grommet on the inside, make sure that you didn't forget anything. And now this is just a hand tighten. Just tighten that in to place. And because of that weight you put on there, it now slides nice and easily, and the faucet is nice and sturdy. So we've gone and emptied the actual trap, and we've taken this off the existing unit because we need to get this dishwasher line off of here to make sure that the dishwasher has a hookup. We didn't bother showing you the emptying of the trap because that's a little gross. But now we're actually going to start actually putting in the basket strainer for the drain assembly. Now, usually you'd go ahead and put in your plumber's putty, but in this case we've actually got a gasket, so we don't need to. So you just go ahead and throw in the gasket, and then you throw in your basket strainer on top, and then you just go ahead, you've got your rubber gasket here, and you've got the bottom of your basket strainer there, and there's one assembly for each. Go ahead and pop that in, tighten that down with the screw, And then we can start hooking up the rest of the drain assembly. And we're back. Now that the turkey's complete, the drain assembly, we can just tighten this down. Now always remember to make sure that you change your existing, if you're not actually changing the whole drain assembly, make sure that you at least change all the seals, just so that you don't have any problems. Also, I always recommend to every client that I sell a new sink to and a new countertop to, change your old P-trap. Especially the brass ones in condos, they always leak over time. You start getting a little bit of rust down here, and eventually, just the same as the corrosion around here, you just eventually, they have all kinds of leaks, and sometimes you smack it with a garbage can and then it breaks, then you have a leak inside your cupboard. So you just want to make sure all these seals are pushed in place. Tighten the rings down, and away you go. And so now I'm just tightening up the actual P-trap here. You just want to make sure everything's fitting properly. Make sure you've got your seals. Make sure they're in the right order. If you put this ring on second, it doesn't fit. Always hand tighten all your plumbing first, and then tighten it with the wrench if you need it. Check the instructions. Sometimes you actually don't need to wrench tighten anything. Sometimes hand tightening is enough. Okay, so now we're just checking for leaks. We just want to make sure that anything we might have assembled here isn't leaking. Double check, triple check. Just make sure that you don't get any water in your cabinet. If you do, shut everything off, retighten, make sure all your seals are good. So now we've checked this one out, we're good to go. Also, don't take for granted that your shutoffs will actually seal. Sometimes they will wear out over time and you will have to change the shutoffs. You also want to give a good feel to all your parts and pieces assembled, and just make sure that everything isn't dripping. Make sure that there's no water or anything that is that wasn't currently there. Make sure you wipe everything down. Take any water off if there was any water from it, if you washed the pipes, or if there was any water residue as well. And just as I thought, no leaks. Hi everyone. Thanks for watching our first of many YouTube tutorials. If there's something specific that you would like to see, feel free to leave a comment below or like us on Facebook.